On tonight's Wales at 6, artist Pete was rescued when flash floods struck his studio. Now a major sea defence scheme has been built to protect the coastal community where he lives.
Also tonight, assisted dying is on the way to becoming legal, but now it's been confirmed that the Senedd does have the power to stop it being offered on the NHS here in Wales.
Plus, smash and grab, the shocking moment this thief made off with an £80,000 historic candelabra. Today, he felt the full weight of the law. And Becca Bown brings home the gold at the Island Games. We'll be celebrating with Ynys Môn. Hello, good evening. It's been almost a year since local artist Pete Rumble had to be rescued when flash floods hit and submerged his studio near Swansea in just under 30 minutes. It caused him and others in the community thousands of pounds worth of damage. Today, a project to defend businesses and homes from the same fate has officially opened in Mumbles. The kilometre-long seawall is one of a number of Welsh Government schemes to protect the hundreds of thousands of properties in Wales who are at risk of flooding. Well, our Swansea correspondent Dean Thomas Welch is there for us tonight. Dean, it's hoped this project will significantly reduce the danger for those in the area then.
Yes, that's right, John. Well, a sea defence was first built around the village of Mumbles back in the 19th century. But as the sea levels have risen, so has the need for a more robust sea defence. Well, today, a new project to protect Mumbles into the 22nd century has been unveiled today, protecting hundreds of homes and businesses. Artist Pete Rumble suffered due to flooding when he had to be rescued from his art studio in September last year. He welcomes investment in projects that will protect properties from floodwater.
It was quite a surprising downpour, like a monsoon. There was a lot of runoff from the hills behind through Clyne, and because of previous storm debris, the river backed up and it overflowed and flooded each residential property sequentially till it got to ours. Flooding is always going to undermine property value, and I think if Swansea wants to hold on to its residential property values, it will have to do this extra work. Everybody pays taxes, and I think there should be money there from the government to help facilitate flood defences. With the second highest tidal range in the world, keeping the sea at bay is vital to homes and businesses in coastal villages like Mumbles. Today, a brand new multi-million-pound sea defence project was officially opened. The two-year construction project saw a £26 million overhaul of the seawall stretching from Newton to Nab Rock. The Mumbles Coastal Project scheme will protect 126 homes and over 50 businesses from the rising level of the sea.
Swansea Council is already rated #1 in Wales in terms of tackling climate change, in terms of the aspects that we're doing both on coastal erosion, on homes, on decarbonisation. So, it's part of what we're about. And, when you can make the difference to protect homes, but also deliver something as beautiful as this, what's not to love?
The Mumbles Sea Defence is one of a number of Welsh Government programmes set up to respond to the challenges of climate change. Almost £300 million has been invested in 15 schemes across Wales, benefiting 14,000 properties.
As an amenity, recreation resource for the whole of the population of Swansea and visitors, it's phenomenal, as good as anywhere else in Europe. But on a flood defence basis, it's fit for now and future generations, protecting hundreds of businesses and properties behind, and also delivering resilience against climate change and sea level rise as well.
Mumbles is notorious for its proximity to its stunning coastline. The new sea defence will ensure the village is protected from the sea for generations.
And Dean, the impact of flooding affects many across the country, not just in Mumbles.
Yes, that's correct, John. Wales has over 1,600 miles of coastline, and as the climate changes and the sea level rises, so does the risk for those people living near water. By 2120, it's estimated that 160,000 properties will be at risk of water from rising sea levels, with a further 130,000 properties at risk from water from rising river levels. So as you can see, this is a major issue for the Welsh Government and for local authorities to tackle.
Dean Thomas Welch in Mumbles, thanks very much indeed. Next, plans to legalise assisted dying are already controversial, of course, but today it's been confirmed that there could be a big difference between what happens here in Wales and what happens in England. In fact, it could be the case that even if it becomes legal, assisted dying services may not be available on the Welsh NHS if Senedd members vote against it. Well, our political editor, Adrian Masters, is at the Senedd for us tonight. Adrian, some clarity on this confusing situation at last.
Some clarity, John, yes, but also lots of questions. As you may remember, in another parliament, the UK Parliament in Westminster, MPs last month voted to legalise assisted dying. It's not become law yet, but it's well on the way to doing so. But the health service here in Wales is run by the Welsh Government and so is ultimately answerable to this place, the Senedd, the Welsh Parliament. And last year, Senedd members here voted against the principle of assisted dying. So today, in front of the Health Committee, the Health Secretary, Jeremy Miles, was asked to clarify. And this is what was said.
On regulations, if they are not made by Welsh Government and consequently approved by Senedd, the NHS in Wales will not be able to provide assisted dying services.
That is correct.
Be the case?
That is correct.
That will be the case.
So, Adrian, what happens next? Will this difference become reality?
It's certainly perfectly possible, John. So the legislation in the UK Parliament now goes to the House of Lords, which will decide on it. But it's quite likely that it will then get passed and become a law. There will be a different Senedd, a different Welsh Parliament after the election next year, and a different Welsh Government. They will have to decide whether or not they want it to apply or whether they want the Welsh NHS to offer that service when it becomes legal. So it could be legal here in Wales, but not offered by the Welsh NHS, legal in England on the Welsh NHS, legal in private health service providers here in Wales. So in many ways, as I said at the beginning, many more questions than answers today.
OK, Adrian Masters in the Senedd, thanks very much indeed. A man has been jailed after stealing a candelabra worth £80,000 from Cyfarthfa Castle in Merthyr Tydfil. In a brazen attack in April this year, the 31-year-old from Leicestershire smashed into the display cabinet in front of a group of primary school children. Well, Liam McConkey is at the castle for us tonight. Liam, justice has finally been served.
Good evening, John. Well, yes, that's right. Justice has been served to the tune of a 32-month prison sentence for Henry Tyson Wilshire from Bagworth in Leicestershire. Now, as you can see, this is a tranquil spot behind me with lovely gardens and a very grand and historic castle. But on the 8th of April, it was the site of a crime scene, and CCTV footage has showed 31-year-old Wilshire casually strolling into the castle, even talking to the receptionist. And then what followed was the brazen attack, John, as you described it, of Wilshire smashing the cabinet which the candelabra was placed in the crochet room in which school children were there. You see them in the corner running from the situation as it unfolded. Now, 60 primary school children were there at the time, and it was described as a frightening and awful experience for them by Merthyr Tydfil Council's leader. Now, Wilshire fled the scene and a search was launched by South Wales Police, who eventually tracked him down and arrested him. Now, he pleaded guilty at Teesside Magistrate Court last month to theft, receiving stolen goods and also for causing criminal damage. Now, the candelabra, which is one of the castle's most prized possessions, is yet to be recovered still. And despite that, staff and children here who were here on the day can be assured tonight that the man who caused such disruption to their day is being punished for such a reckless crime.
Liam McConkey in Merthyr Tydfil, thank you very much indeed. Do stay with us, there is plenty more still to come tonight. We're on Orkney for the Island Games, where Ynys Môn have bagged themselves a gold.
And we start to crank up the heat and humidity once again as we go through the next few days, but into the weekend, all change. Full forecast details coming up later in the programme.
Before that, a rise in food prices and the cost of clothing has contributed to a rise in inflation. It rose to 3.6% in June, an 18-month high, and a jump from 3.4% in May. Well, our Consumer Affairs reporter Kate Lewis joins me now in the studio. Kate, this is hitting people in the pockets.
It certainly is. It's hitting all of us where it really hurts, John. As you mentioned, some of the biggest drivers for this rise, the price of food and clothing. Grocery prices are just continuing to rise across the board, with staples like bread, milk and other fresh produce costing more. Then, on top of that, clothing prices have just surged, particularly when it comes to women and children's clothes, as retailers pass on increased cost of production and imports. There's also been a rise at the pumps. I'm sure the eagle-eyed will have spotted. Earlier in this year, we saw the prices come down. They've gone straight back up. And that's really all to do with tensions in recent weeks and months in the Middle East. And from our cars to our homes, rise in property market too, particularly here in Wales, where Welsh house prices have continued to climb faster than the UK average. To give some idea, the average property value here now has hit around 210,000. That's up 5.1% year on year, compared with 3.9% across the UK overall. None of this is good news for families, is it, that are already feeling stretched? And what does it mean? Well, it means less spending power at the checkout. And economists are warning that if this trend continues, then it will hit interest rates. It will have an effect on those. And what will that mean? Increased pressure on families' budgets.
Dear, oh dear. Kate, thanks very much indeed for explaining all that. A new nuclear manufacturing works has opened in Deeside, creating 200 jobs for the area. The factory will produce pipework, tanks and other building components for Hinkley Point C and Sizewell C, and is the latest in a growing number of foreign investments in Wales. Well, our correspondent Carol Green has been to visit the site.
Igniting growth. French company Bocard have chosen Deeside for their state-of-the-art new factory, which will supply pipework to the nuclear industry, creating 200 new jobs.
Deeside has a strong industrial history. The quality of the workforce is one of the best in the UK, and we had a strong support from the Welsh government helping us to attract and train the young apprentices to enter this manufacturing industry, which is critical for all the nuclear program here in the UK.
The French owners of this new factory say this is a pivotal moment as the UK nuclear industry undergoes a renaissance. It puts Deeside at the heart of the supply chain, creating new jobs and securing futures. Bo has moved from Pembrokeshire to take up a 3-year apprenticeship here.
I think it's made a massive difference in my life. Before I was a bit unsure of what I wanted to do, but when this opportunity came, I just knew that I wanted to do it.
And welders are in demand, so you're learning a skill the economy needs.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Meanwhile, Sophie joined the company in January and is looking to grow her own career as the business expands.
It's so exciting. We moved here and we have got so many live vacancies. We're going to provide 200 jobs to the community, and it's such a good time.
This is the latest foreign investment on Deeside. Last year, Turkish company Eren Holdings began a £1 billion redevelopment at Shotton Paper Mill. The latest figures from the Department of Business and Trade showed Wales secured 65 new foreign direct investments last year, an increase of 23%. These jobs are important, especially at a time when unemployment has been going up in Wales.
these jobs are really important, but actually we're not just after any jobs, we're after high-skilled jobs, which is why these jobs that we see today are really, really important. But they don't come without us working really closely with the colleges, with universities and with individual businesses to understand what their support needs are as well.
In a slow economy, both the UK and Welsh governments have put growth at the top of their agendas. Today's investment is a spark of success and the hope of more to come. Carol Green, ITV News, Deeside.
Some welcome good news there. Well, after the excitement of the Euros, attention turned to the Wales women's rugby players today and the launch of their kit for the World Cup to be hosted by England in August and September. For the players, that meant a trip to the National Botanic Garden in Carmarthenshire, where they were greeted by some young fans. Lewis Rhys-Jones was there too.
Lovely.
Smiles and flags at the ready, the Wales women's rugby players receiving a warm welcome from school children in Carmarthenshire, who are delighted to meet and greet the team so many of them idolise.
I've been playing rugby for about 2 years now, and it's like a dream to meet the Welsh women's rugby team. I would love to go to one of the games. They've definitely inspired me to go for it and go for your dreams.
I think it's incredible to find that there's a new kit, the first ever kit for the women's rugby.
It was very special for me because I've never seen them actually having their kit, and it's nice to know that they're having their kit, not like the men's.
And the players were equally happy to be here as they gear up for a busy season.
Grateful for every support that we have, but to have the kids look up to us is a massive for us really, to go out there and work that much harder, not only for us but for the generation coming through.
Yeah, definitely nerves, definitely excitement, but just really excited to get the competition going. Obviously, Scotland first up, which will be really good and really interesting, and excited to get going against them. We've got a bit of a rivalry going on at the minute.
A lot of careful planning has gone into the making of the women's first ever bespoke kit, with daffodils an important part of the design.
A lot of the kit was designed with the women. We spoke to the national team and the senior leadership team. They chose the lilac colour, and the most important thing is they're happy, and they really are, and they're proud to wear it. I'm so excited, and I think sometimes you don't realise how important a kit is until after a campaign. So I'm quite excited. When I'm old, I'll be looking back and thinking, that reminds me of the World Cup. But yeah, fabulous. I'm so proud.
The National Botanic Garden of Wales couldn't be prouder to host the launch event.
I think I'm biased, of course, but I think it's one of the most beautiful scenic places in the whole of Wales. But what's particularly special about today is the involvement with the local community, and we got local children, local schools coming in, and that all blends together. And if it means rugby working alongside a National Botanic Garden, sends out a lovely message to all ages.
A beautiful setting for a warm reception that is sure to get the team excited for next month's tournament. Lewis Rhys-Jones, ITV News.
Very smart. To the International Island Games now, and Ynys Mon's Becca Bown won gold in the women's 1500 metres last night, taking the island's third medal so far. The competition is held every 2 years and sees 24 islands from around the world compete, from as far away as the Falklands and St Helena. This year, Orkney in Scotland is the host island, and our reporter Hamish Ausgerry is there for us and watched Becca run the race of her life.
Wearing the number 252, Bown was in the bronze medal position entering the final lap of the 1500 metres. Even that would have been a fine result for her after finishing just outside the medals 2 years ago in the Guernsey Island Games. But then she found something extra, and just look what it meant.
Still in shock, to be honest. I wasn't expecting to win, but I'm very happy with how the race went.
The noise was incredible. There was occasions in the race too.
Yeah, I haven't experienced something like that before. Just the support all around was just amazing, and it really pushed me through in the end.
And the second gold medal for Ynys Mon at this game.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, I still can't believe it. You know, Fionn did amazing yesterday and she really inspired me today to just push and go for gold. So, yeah.
How's it going to feel when your family see this?
Oh, I think they'll probably be in tears now. So, my dad and my nan and Tide are here. My other family are watching at home, my mum and sister. So, I'm excited to see them and talk to them.
Becca's family were able to watch on a live stream 600 miles away in Anglesey, then sharing their joy down the phone.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
These scenes of happiness and pride are common in the International Island Games. At the triathlon earlier in the week in the town of Stromness, some might have half expected to catch sight of an orca in the water, but there were a few Welsh dragons too. Its support appreciated by competitors this far from home. Pete Miller went to his first Island Games in 2011 with his brothers. He's from Hertfordshire, but since then his heart is on Ynys Môn.
It's kind of like a mini Olympics, but you get so much closer to the action. You get to see what it means to people a lot more. For people that are able to go out there and represent their islands and their flags, you can see how much it means to them. There's a lot of understanding between the islands because they've all got that kind of, they all come from a similar kind of background. So it's just, it really is an amazing event to come to.
A phenomenal run from Becca Bown.
Her fastest 1500 metres this season, and what a time to get it. 3 medals in the bag for Ynys Môn now, and still hopes for more. Hamish Alskerry, ITV News, Orkney.
And on the ITV Evening News.
Coming up on the programme, survivors of the forced adoption scandal protest outside Parliament, demanding an official government apology. New recommendations for physician associates, including a new job title to prevent catastrophic misdiagnoses. And the singer and campaigner Mylene Klass is honoured at Windsor Castle. Would you join me for those stories and more at 6:30?
Now, a group of volunteers who rescued and restored a crumbling railway station building from the Victorian era are celebrating its success as a museum. The derelict waiting room and ticket office at the seaside town of Borth were first taken on by a small group of community champions back in 2011. Now there's up to 30 who volunteer their time to preserve the station's history, as Rob Shelley reports.
This, the Cambrian Coast Railway line, is one of Wales's epic journeys, complete with mountains, castles, and always the sea. The Victorians who built it designed stations that were equally stylish. It's just that time did some of them no favours. You got the train from Shrewsbury to Aberystwyth, and it used to sort of creep into Borth like a guilty secret because the woodwork was cracked, the paint was peeling. The Victorian age had definitely aged. How bad was it when you actually finally got the keys and came in here and thought, oh, we want to do something, but wow?
Well, it was completely derelict. What had happened was that it had all been sealed up. Most of the windows were broken by that stage. It had just been left.
This is a story a decade or so in the making with a happy ending. The derelict station that ended up as a destination.
Hello. Hello. Can I have a ticket to 1907, please?
Certainly, sir, but you won't be able to go in first class with that shirt on.
It's gone from just having squatters who didn't exactly help things to thousands of visitors a year who peer round the door of Borth Station Museum and end up peering some more. With everything from seaside postcards to posters to a perfect scale model Borth, and yes, because there were buttons, they had to be pressed. When you were very little, George.
Oh, yes.
Coming to Borth, stepping off this platform here, this place means an awful lot, doesn't it?
Deep-rooted memories of coming here from Wolverhampton, low-level station on a steam train and arriving here in a cloud of steam. While we were trying to get it open, which took 4 years of planning permission, fundraising, people gave us things. Yeah. People would turn up with the most marvellous items that they had.
Hit people's imaginations.
Yes, exactly.
When the train draws up into the platform, you don't expect to see a museum appear rather than a ticket office.
No,
you know?
No, and when it's not open and it's sort of the doors open, people just kind of go in, and then they're sort of drawn in, and then before you know it, they're looking around and going, wow! And it's famous as well. It's been in Hinterland, which is one of my favourite programmes.
I'm being upstaged now, literally. So there it is, a station that's loved again, not just left to fall apart. You can get off the 305 to Aberystwyth and visit the travellers of 1900. And, rather like those big blue skies, it's free. Rob Shelley, ITV News, in Borth.
All aboard for the weather now with Chris.
Midday Mayan temples, followed by sunny afternoons on the sand. TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather.
Hello there. Very good evening to you. Not as fresh as yesterday, but also more sunshine than yesterday for all of us too. Lots of fine weather across much of the country through today, and it's felt quite warm where we've seen the sunshine too. Into this evening and overnight though, we're gradually increasing more cloud, misty and murky over the tops of the hills and the mountains tomorrow morning, with some outbreaks and light and patchy rain. But gradually through the night we introduce more humidity, so it's going to gradually feel muggier as the day goes on through tomorrow. That rain, already just flirting with us across the southwest, will continue its journey north and eastwards as we work our way through this evening and overnight. Some heavier pulses for a time across the lights of Snowdonia towards Anglesey, but you can see the cloud cover across the southern half of the country. Misty and murky, but fairly mild. Temperatures 15 to 17 Celsius, 63 in Fahrenheit as your overnight low. So after possibly an uncomfortable night for sleeping, a lot of cloud cover with us through tomorrow, still with some outbreaks of rain across northern counties, and into the afternoon where the cloud breaks, that will allow a few showers to spark off too as the breeze strengthens across the likes of the Irish Sea coast. Into the afternoon though, highs 23 to 24 Celsius, so back into the mid-70s of Fahrenheit and still feeling fairly muggy too. As for Friday, one or two sharp showers around, but the main focus for showery rain looks to be into Saturday. The devil's still in the detail at the moment with this area of low pressure out towards the west, which will be the main focus for the weather story on Sunday. But you can see here that we introduce that heat and the humidity throughout the weekend, so it is going to stay rather stuffy. So hotting up over the next couple of days with some spells of sunshine, but with the thundery rain for the weekend. Pollen's next.
TUI sponsors ITV Cymru Wales weather. Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
And as for the pollen forecast, well, it looks like as we go through the rest of the week and into the weekend, the pollen levels fluctuate between low and moderate with those outbreaks of showery rain. We're at the end of the grass pollen season now, and it's the start of wheat pollen. Take care.
Our thanks to Chris. That's all from us for now. I'll be back though with the late update. That's after the ITV News at 10. Until then, from all of us on the programme, thanks for watching.